The general manager of the team took center stage in a revealing conversation following the draft, sharing a host of insights that have sparked serious debate among fans and analysts alike. The buzz surrounding the offseason hasn't slowed down one bit, and the attention now shifts to a couple of intriguing situations, starting with a free agent running back and the ever-evolving picture of the offensive line. But before diving into that, it's worth acknowledging the wave of support the team has received in recent weeks. The response to the draft has been overwhelmingly positive, and it's clear that fans are locked in, eager for daily updates and in-depth takes. With nearly 123,000 followers, the platform is on the verge of hitting another milestone. And it's thanks to this growing audience that conversations like these continue to gain traction. Now about the offensive line. There's a genuine curiosity about what's going to happen there. One player is currently expected to open training camp as the starting left tackle. That decision wasn't made lightly. Both the coaching staff and even his former college coach believe he can perform well on the left side. That kind of confidence isn't thrown around casually, especially when you're trying to solidify the most critical positions before the grind of training camp begins. Ideally, the team wants to make as few changes as possible during the preparation period. If they can lock down their preferred lineup early, they'll avoid the shuffling that can lead to chemistry issues down the road. That said, flexibility remains part of the strategy. While it doesn't seem like the team is actively looking to move players out of their current roles, they're not opposed to it either. If the best five-man combination involves shifting someone over to right tackle, then so be it. There's clearly an internal debate about how best to configure the line, and the player in question is seen by some within the organization as the most effective lineman on the roster. That makes things even trickier. Should they move him and potentially disrupt his development or let him continue growing at his natural spot on the right side? He's been drawing comparisons to a rising star in Detroit, not because he's already on that level, but because the trajectory looks promising. It raises the question, do interfere with that momentum for the sake of fitting puzzle pieces together? From a personal standpoint, sticking with the current plan seems like the smarter move. Let the young tackle continue to rise on the right side and only shake things up if absolutely necessary. After all, the goal is to arrive at training camp with these issues resolved. One wrinkle, however, is that another player expected to compete for the left tackle spot has not been participating in off-season activities. That absence opens the door for someone else to make a statement. If one of the young offensive linemen impresses during spring workouts and into the summer, he could very well take the lead in that competition. By the time camp rolls around in late July or early August, we might have a better idea of who's going to protect the blind side. But for now, it's still a fluid situation, and coaches will be watching closely. Shifting focus to the defensive side, there's another player whose situation deserves attention. Last season wasn't kind to him, largely due to a lingering shin injury that hampered his effectiveness. The issue may have impacted him more than anyone was willing to admit at the time. But what stands out now is his renewed drive. Word from inside the building is that he's currently one of the hardest workers on the roster. Lifting heavy, getting stronger, and fully locked in on his physical conditioning. It's a major turnaround, and it's clear that he's determined to bounce back. When he was first acquired, this player was riding a wave of success. His time in Washington showcased some of his best football, especially as a pass rusher. That season, he racked up 12.5 sacks, a career high that put him on the map. While his run defense was always a strong point, that particular campaign highlighted his ability to disrupt the quarterback. Last year, though, was a different story. The sack numbers dropped significantly down to 5.5. That's a steep decline, especially for someone being paid like an elite performer. His impact against the run also dipped, and he finished the season looking more like a middle-of-the-pack contributor than a game-changer. So where does he stand now? Is he one of the league's best edge rushers? No, not at the moment. But he's still better than what he showed last season. When healthy and motivated, he has the tools to be a premier run stopper and a solid number 2 in the pass rushing department. That's the role he needs to embrace this year, because the current defensive front lacks a clear-cut alpha. Unless someone takes a big leap, he might be the one who has to lead by example. If he can return to form as a dominant run defender and even slightly improve his sack numbers, that would be a win for the team. The supporting cast on the defensive line has potential, with a mix of interior and edge talent that could create a rotation full of fresh legs and high motor players. But the bottom line is this: he has to produce. He's being paid like a top guy, and the team needs him to play like one. There's also the matter of a potential contract extension for another key player. During the same interview, a lighthearted question came up about when that deal might get done. The response was playful, something about sending a message and hoping it gets finalized soon. But the underlying tone was serious. Getting this extension in place is a priority. There's still plenty of time before training camp officially begins. And while the player isn't the type to hold out over contract issues, it would still be preferable to get things sorted well in advance. What makes the situation more interesting is that the decision to pursue this extension appears tied to the outcome of the draft. The team selected a new tackle, which strongly suggests they plan to use him primarily in that role. Had they taken someone better suited for guard, things might have gone a different direction. But the message is clear. This current player remains part of the long-term vision, and extending him shouldn't be something that gets delayed. Meanwhile, there's another situation developing in the running back market that could have major implications. One of the top available backs is now a free agent, and the question is whether he's headed back to Cleveland or off to a new team. Some reports suggest that Cleveland is making a strong push to bring him back, though interest from another organization could complicate things. It's going to come down to who puts the best offer on the table, plain and simple. But is it realistic to expect him to return to elite form? That's a tough call. 2 years ago, he suffered a major knee injury. Last season, he broke his foot. He's reportedly healthy and training hard now, but that injury history is hard to ignore. He only appeared in 8 games last year and didn't look like his old self for much of that stretch. Toward the end, he seemed to regain a bit of his usual burst, reminding people of what he's capable of. Still, it's fair to wonder if he's fully back. He'll turn 30 this season, and while that's not ancient, it's definitely a milestone for running backs. The question isn't just whether he can return to form, it's whether he can do it consistently enough to be the lead guy again. There's reason to believe he might be better than what he showed last season, but expecting him to return to his absolute peak feels optimistic. Another factor to consider is the offensive structure of the team potentially interested in signing him. There's been chatter that he needs to show he wants to be part of the system and commit to a defined role in the backfield. That talk emerged alongside speculation about the team's quarterback and a possible shift in offensive identity. According to a former league executive, the dynamic is pretty clear. One team is moving on, while another sees a chance to build something more competitive. The new team recently drafted 2 running backs who seem poised for the pro level. If he returns to the old team, there's a legitimate risk of him being the third option in that rotation. By contrast, if he signs with the new team, his floor is likely the number 2 spot, assuming he's in shape. And if they get even a fraction of what he once was, he could emerge as a starter. No one's expecting him to be the absolute best version of himself again, but if he can give flashes of that old brilliance, that's enough to make him a valuable contributor. He could team up with another back to form a strong 1-2 punch, while others fight for backup snaps. All of a sudden, the running back room starts to look more complete and more dangerous. One of the young guys might step up, sure, but there's also a chance that someone who was underutilized last season could flourish with a better offensive line. There's talent, but durability remains a concern. Can one of them handle double? The touches, maybe if he stays healthy. That's why evaluating this free agent is so important. If he's medically cleared and in good condition, there's real upside. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Keenan Allen, one of the NFL's premier wide receivers, is reportedly making a major shift in his career, with sources confirming that the star player is leaving the Chicago Bears. This news has sent shockwaves through the NFL world, as Allen has long been a pivotal figure in the league, renowned for his exceptional route running and ability to make key catches in critical moments. After spending several years in the spotlight with the Los Angeles Chargers, where Allen established himself as one of the top wideouts in the NFL, his move to the Bears was expected to be a game changer for the team. The Chicago Bears, a franchise long searching for a reliable and dynamic receiving threat, were eager to bring in the 32-year-old receiver to add firepower to their offense. However, Allen's time in Chicago appears to be short-lived, as reports suggest that the veteran will soon part ways with the team, much to the dismay of Bears fans. The reasons behind Allen's departure remain unclear, but rumors indicate that a combination of factors, including potential contract disputes and concerns over the team's overall direction, might have contributed to the decision. Some insiders have speculated that Allen may be looking for a fresh start with a contender, especially as he approaches the twilight years of his career and seeks to add a Super Bowl title to his impressive resume. For the Bears, Allen's exit is yet another setback in their ongoing rebuild. The team had hoped that his leadership and on-field expertise would help elevate their young quarterback and provide stability to a wide receiver core that has struggled in recent seasons. Allen's departure leaves a noticeable void in their offense, and now the Bears must look to the draft and free agency to fill the gap and continue their quest for success in the NFC North. Looking ahead, Allen will undoubtedly attract significant attention from other NFL teams in need of a proven playmaker. His ability to create separation, secure tough catches, and perform under pressure makes him a valuable asset to any contender. As one of the league's top receivers, Allen will likely have no shortage of suitors, and it will be fascinating to see where he lands next. In the meantime, the Bears must regroup and reassess their strategy as they face another season of uncertainty. With Allen's departure, Chicago now faces even greater pressure to solidify their receiving core and provide their quarterback with the tools necessary for success. As the NFL offseason continues, the fallout from Allen's exit will surely reverberate throughout the league, and the Bears' next steps will be closely watched by fans and analysts alike. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.